Welcome to the show, Down Under Interviews. And today we're here with A.G.Flitcher, author of The Black Rose Cocoon. Now, do you like to be called AJ or Andre?
Andre's good. Makes it a little easier.
So, Andre, I sort of like get the feeling that some of you authors are sort of like ganging up because yesterday I interviewed Beth Hildenbrand, who is a author of The Occult, and now reading your book. You're writing books about serial killers. So you're trying to give me nightmares or something.
I've already given some readers nightmares, but it's not on purpose. It's hard to write a crime novel when you're trying to engage the audience in something that they find entertaining, when you're also trying to keep the value of emotion high.
You're located in Vancouver, but the novel's actually set in Haliburton in Ontario. Why did you choose Haliburton?
It's funny you say Ontario because I didn't think of that. I actually thought that I made that word up.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I guess
actually
that's
Haliburton in Ontario, and it's actually quite a lovely place.
It was my amalgamation of what I would think is a very grungy city, but also has this weird Victorian touch to it, where some places are very bougie and regal, but there's also the down and dirty kind of place. And there's also a third layer of some streets that are kind of abandoned and should be left alone. And in this street, it's kind of like a ghost town. And there's this weird eerie feeling of abandonment at nighttime. So it's definitely not like me trying to replicate or do an echo of something that already exists in our world. It's me trying to do my bizarro world understanding of what crime novels and crime documentaries base that story in.
Okay.
So it means more like, what if this doesn't exist? What if things were kind of backwards?
So, can you discuss the significance of the title, Black Rose Cocoon? And how did you come about that title? It's set in 1986.
Yeah, okay. So for the title, I tried to encapsulate the overall energy that the killer creates. So Black Rose, first off, that doesn't actually exist. There's no such thing as a rose having an actual black pigment. But it is symbolic of the whole, beauty and death kind of thing. So the serial killer, she has this very warped perspective of love, and that's where Black Rose comes from. Of her backwards understanding that to her, true love is motionless, and that's why she kills young girls, because to her, true happiness does not move; it won't leave her. So it goes back to her childhood.
So the book sort of like delves into sort of like psychological trauma and that type of thing. How do you do your research for that topic?
For psychological trauma, I did talk to a trauma expert because towards the end of the series, a lot of loss happens and a lot of nightmarish scenes happen. So I wanted to try to see or understand, how do people deal with trauma differently, and how can I include diversity of pain in a way that doesn't seem doom and gloom. It actually creates a well-rounded spectrum of all emotions.
Okay, Andre, without giving any spoilers away, what challenges did you face when writing novel?
I would say finding the right story structure to properly tell the overall conversation I was trying to create for the story. And the conversation I originally wanted to start with is, how does someone become a monster? How does someone become a serial killer? Is there a way to theorize how that comes about, or is it just an impulse that someone can't control? Stopped writing and spent, I think, 6 months listening to true crime podcasts, watching documentaries, talking to criminology professors, and asking people what do they like about this genre, what's so intriguing about it, what is missing, and I just started thinking more about people, especially if it's the shortening of life from someone who is very young, where they even haven't had the chance to really know who they are. So imagine being a parent and not knowing what could have been for your child's life. So that really struck a chord with me, and I wanted to really capitalize on that feeling.
Just one last question. So probably pretty well answered this, but what somebody reading your novel, what do you really want them to take away? Just in
What I
one
want them
sentence.
to what I wanted them to take away is, as ironic as it is, the beauty in death. That part of our life, which we all know is not something we can avoid, allows us the opportunity to really capitalize on not just the time we have here, but what we do with it. So what this book really is celebrating is the fact that we do have an expiration. That is something to celebrate, because it means that our time here and who we are has to be somewhat defined.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, Andre, it's been great talking to you. As I said, I've had a bit of a look at, a bit of a read, and it sounds fascinating. And I really wish you luck with it. So good luck with the book, and we'll chat again. Cheers.
all right, thank you for having me.